Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Kat. I make friendship bracelet tutorials for beginners. So if you want to learn how to make friendship bracelets like this, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell to be notified every time I post. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this rainbow gradient bracelet. This is an alpha pattern. I didn't look for a pattern, so I don't know if this was already one, but as far as I know, this is an original pattern that I made, but it's very possible that there is already one out there like similar or the same to this. So this is the first time I've ever made my own pattern, so I'm just really proud of this one and I'm excited to share it with you guys. If you end up making it, post on Instagram and tag me at Hallinan, because I'd love to see you guys doing this pattern. So I already set up my base strings. You're gonna need for this bracelet 13 base strings. They can be any color you want. They're not gonna show up in the bracelet, they'll just be the ends. So on this one I did all white, but on this one I'm gonna be doing black. So you need 13 of those, and they should be 12 inches long or 30 centimeters long. Then for your lead strings, you're going to be adding these into the bracelet one at a time. So I have my first two colors cut, and I'm just gonna, cut these strings when I get to them. I did say in another alpha pattern tutorial video that I just cut all my strings and tie them in the beginning, so I don't have to add them in, but I actually changed my mind. I think this way is better because I realized that it's just too much string to deal with. It gets tangled and it also makes your bracelet bumpy if you do that. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, just don't worry about it, because I'm going to show you how to do it this way. Like I said, base strings are going to be 12 inches or 30 centimeters, and then your lead strings should be about 48 inches or 122 centimeters. You're probably going to end up running out and having to replace your string, but it's really simple to do that. And I'm going to show you how to do it. So don't worry about that. Once you have your base strings cut and you also have your first two lead strings cut, you're going to arrange your base strings flat like this and spaced out, and then you're going to tape it down, and you want a good amount of ends. So this is about 3 inches, which I don't have the conversion for centimeters, so sorry, just Google it. But yeah, about 3 inches, and you're going to want it to be taped down the whole thing so that your strings aren't sliding around. Once you have that, you're going to grab your first lead string, and let me grab some tape. Okay, so I'm literally so annoyed because I thought I was videoing that whole time and I wasn't. So I got a piece of tape and I taped down my lead string, and then what I did is I started doing forward knots, starting with the first one all the way across, and I'm going to be doing that until I get to the second to last string, and then the last string we're going to do a forward backward knot. If you don't know how to do a forward knot, all you gotta do is take your lead string and make a 4 shape over your base string like that. See how that makes a 4? Then you put this underneath the black string into that triangle. Then you pull it out, and then you pull it up. And you're going to do that twice. So 2 times for every 1 forward knot. And then also, guys, if you have this problem where the base strings are not close to each other, before you tie your knot, you want to just kind of pull that string over to where it needs to be. And as you're tying the knot, be pulling that base string to be right next to that last knot, because you don't want your knots to be separated. You want them to be right buddy next to each other. Also, don't tie your knots too tight. You want them to be pretty loose, like just tight enough that they're fully tied, but not like we're not pulling it tight. It's just like there, perfect, just like firmly tight. Okay, so then now that I'm at this last string, this is going to complete that first row. We're going to do a forward backward knot. So a forward 4 underneath into the triangle, pull through and pull up. Then instead of doing another forward knot, we're going to form a backwards 4 like that. And this red should be going across over the black. We're going to put that in the triangle like before, pull it through and pull it up. That's a forward backward knot. So as you can see, our string ended up on this side instead of on this side. So that completes the first row of red. We're going to do 4 rows of red. To begin our second row, we are going to go on the same string that we just did that last knot, and we're going to do another forward backward knot. So forward, backward, into the triangle, pull and pull up. And as you're making any alpha pattern bracelet, you want to just make sure that you're holding your bass strings really tight and like keeping them where they need to be, but not putting as much stress on the lead string, because you don't want to do like super tight knots. You don't want to try to move your knots around by pulling them tighter. You want it to be like these are all lined up, and then like these can just nicely tie on them because they're already lined up. Hope that makes sense. All right, so we did our first knot of the second row. Then we're going to do a row of backward knots across this, but not on the last string. So backwards 4, 1, backwards 2. Now I just got to the last string, and I'm going to do a backward forward knot, and then to start the next row I'm going to do another backward forward knot on this same string. So backwards 4, forwards, backwards, and forward. And then you can probably sense the pattern now, especially if you've done this kind of bracelet before, but then we're just going to do forward knots all the way to that end. Boom. I am quick, aren't I? And then last string, we're going to do a forward backward and then another forward backward. Boom. And obviously then another row of backward knots, and then we'll get into adding in the orange. So backward knots, and then a backward forward on this last one. Okay, so now it's time to add in the orange. Hey, so as you can see, it's going to start out with 1 orange, and then it's going to be 3 red, 1 orange, 3 red, 1 orange, 3 red, 1 orange. That's the pattern. That's going to be the pattern for the next 3 rows, but it will be alternating. So the orange of the second row will be underneath the middle red. I have my orange string, and I'm going to put it under that same piece of tape with the red. You're going to tape it to the left side if it's a row where you're going to be doing forward knots. If it's a row where you're doing backward knots and you're starting over here, you're going to tape it to the right side, obviously. So your old leading string, you're just going to put up. And your new leading string, we want it to like come from this direction. So I'm putting it right there. I'm going to put it like to the right of there, and I'm going to do a backward forward knot just so it matches that knot. So we're going to put that there, and then we're going to do a backward and a forward. We're going to do another color change because we're switching to the red now. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put that red up. It's actually a little different when you're not on the end. So I'm going to like explain this again. This is for color changes that aren't on the ends. So we put our old lead string up. We get our new lead string and do first part of our forward knot. Then we grab our old string and we lay that on top of what we just did. And then we grab our new lead string and do the second part of our forward knot. And that seals in that string. So it's like in the knot. Just explain it one more time because it's a little confusing, I know. So old leading string we put up. We put upwards. Then we do the first part of the forward knot on our bass string. Lay this over. So now that's laying on top of our little knot. See it back there? And then the second part of our forward knot. And I'll explain it one more time. So old leading string goes up, first part of our forward knot. Old leading string goes across, second part of our forward knot. Boom, that's it. And so we just did 3 reds, which means it's time for 1 orange. So we can do that same method again. Old leading string goes up, which is now the red. New lead string, which is now orange. We do the first part of our knot. Old string we put across. And then we do the second part of our knot on top of that. And then now we're switching back to red. So yeah, it's the same thing. Orange goes up. First part of our forward knot with the red. Orange goes across. Second part of our forward knot. And we're just going to follow that pattern of 1 orange, 3 red until the end. I just got to my last string and it's a little different on this one. Instead of doing the thing where you feed through the other lead string, you're not going to do that. So this one's going to switch to orange. So I'm going to take the red and I'm just going to like put it up. Just try to get it out of the way. Like, okay, yeah. So like that. So it's just like underneath and up for now. And with our orange, we're going to do the forward, backward knot since we're on the end. Oh, by the way, guys, you see how this is like pulling down? If that happens, just grab your bass strings and you can just literally push the knots up. Every once in a while, I like to grab all my bass strings and just like push everything up so it's like even. So anyway, forward, backward knot with the orange. Forward, backward. Okay, and then on the next row, it's going to start with red. It's going to be 2 reds and then orange, and then 3 reds and orange, 3 reds, orange, 2 reds. So we're also not, since we're still on the end, we're not going to feed through the thing or whatever. So we're just going to take our old lead string, put it up here like we did with the red. Take that red, and you want it to start out right here, like on the left side of this. And then you're going to do a forward, backward knot to start that row. And we have, it starts off with 2 reds, so then we're going to do another knot with the red. And as you can see, this orange is sort of in my way, so I'm just going to like push it out of the way, just like that. So we're going to do a backward knot right here. And then it switches to orange. And now that we're not on the end, we can do the whole feeding through the last lead string. So red is up. We're going to start with a backward knot, then red goes over, and then we're gonna finish our backward knot. And as you're pulling this up, if the red isn't like doing what it should be doing, just like pull it like that. Perfect. And now we switch to red. We're gonna do 3 reds. Orange goes over. Okay, so I'm just gonna do that pattern. I'm gonna finish this row, and then I'm gonna do that 3rd row of the same thing, which was like what we did on the 1st row. So I am on my 3rd row of doing the orange, then 3 red pattern, and as you can see, my string is so short, and I'm not going to be able to make it to the end, which is perfect because I can show you guys how to replace that. So it's just the same thing as when you do the color change with your other lead string, except you're just going to leave it in the back, and later you will trim it. So I just did a forward knot here. I'm gonna need another red knot. So I'm gonna do the same thing I did when I added in the orange. I have a new piece of red cut, and I'm gonna put that in the tape. I'm gonna do the beginning of a forward knot on this bass string. Then I'm gonna take my string that's too short that I'm replacing, and I'm going to lay that across and do another forward. And I'm going to do like a few knots with this being fed through. Then eventually here, I'll show you. So 1, lay this across. 2. Okay, so yeah, I'll just do 2 knots. But I do recommend doing more than 2 knots. Like, keep feeding it through, because the longer you feed it through, the less likely it's gonna like untie itself. But I honestly don't really care about this bracelet. I'm just making it for this tutorial, so it's not really a big deal if that happens. So that's back there. And then, yeah, you just continue on your bracelet like nothing happened. So I'm going to go do my orange now. And I'm just going to finish this row. All right, I just finished that row. So now we got 1 row of every other, and you're going to start with red. So the last row ended with 1 orange. This one's going to start with red and go red, orange, red, orange, red, orange till the end. Just 1 row of that. Okay, I just did that row of the every other. Now we're switching to the pattern of 3 orange, 1 red. So it's going to start with 2 orange, and then it's going to go 1 red, 3 orange, 1 red, 3 orange, 1 red, and then end with 2 orange. So we're going to take our orange, and remember, we want to start it from here, not from here. We're going to do a backward forward knot, and another forward knot. We're going to do 1 and then get this red out of the way, feed that through, and then another. And then we're going to do a red. 1, put the orange over. 2, we're doing forward knots. Oh, not 3 reds. Then back to the orange, 3 oranges, and then 1 red. You guys get it. Okay, so you're going to continue with that pattern. It's the same thing we did up here with the 3 red, 1 orange, only the colors are reversed. So you're gonna do 3 rows of that, and you can refer back to these rows if you're like not sure what to do. And then the pattern just repeats itself. So your orange will be like the beginning. So then you'll just do 4 rows of orange, and then incorporate your yellow, and then 4 rows of yellow, incorporate your green, all the way till purple. And that's how you make the bracelet. In regards to ending your bracelet / starting the ends and how to tie it on, you can do many different methods. For this one, I twisted it, and I will show you guys how to do that real quick, just because I know I'm gonna get comments asking. So you just, once you're done your bracelet, you divide your base strings into 2 and cross them like that, like left over right, and then you spin each group left and then cross it again, and just keep crossing it over and also spinning it to the left. Spinning the strings together is gonna keep your twist naturally in a twist. So you'll do that pretty far down, you know, depending on like how big your wrist is, or the wrist of whoever you're putting this on. You, like, honestly, this would probably be kind of difficult to tie on because these just aren't very long. So you would do that, and then you would do an overhand knot like this, like that, and then through. You would pull it tight, and then you would just trim the ends to make that cute little fray. But I'm not gonna do that because I haven't finished yet. You can also just braid it, or you could really just like tie a knot and have it just be string. So that's it for that video, for this tutorial. If you guys make this, tag me on Instagram at Hallinan. I really want to see other people making my pattern. Like, that would be so fulfilling to me. It's the little things. And obviously you can do any color you want. It doesn't have to be rainbow. It could be like black and white, or it could be like green all the way to blue, and it goes through like different shades of green, and then it's blue. That would be cool. Maybe like white to blue, like an ocean. Just some ideas. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you have any requests, let me know in the comments. I give shout outs to people whose requests I do. So if I make a video based on a request, leave your like Instagram or whatever social medias you want shouted out. Leave that in the comment and I'll give you a shout out. Like, if you have a small business, I'll, like, you know, free advertisement, hey. Anyway, I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you guys make this bracelet. It's pretty dope.